you love to read about the latest news. You're being told to be updated about what's happening around you and the world. I don't want to ruin it for you. But in this episode, we'll explore why you should avoid news at all costs and why avoiding news will actually make you a smarter individual. So, have you ever heard a reporter say something like this? I am reporting from the school that was never bombed. Never. You would rather hear about the school that was bombed. That's because news only shows the exception to the rule, never the rule itself. Have you ever wondered why the news is so important? We're talking about 24/7 coverage of world events, the Russian war, Amazon fire, the terrorist attack, airplane crash, and constant reporting on current affairs and the latest political scandals. Why do we need to know about everything that happens in this world? Remember that if you don't benefit from it, you are the product being sold. So, you are the product. The news channels make money out of you. That's all. But here is the thing, all that news is bad for your mental health. News is just a dopamine hit. It's like the pastry you see in a shop and you eat it because you want to feel good, not because it will actually make you healthier or help you lose weight. The information is empty calories for our mind. Well, here is what you need to know. The news is often full of misinformation and half-truths. It's also usually biased and sensationalized. The more time you spend in front of your TV, the more likely it is that you will become desensitized to the world around you. And the less likely it is that you will be able to see things clearly or make sound decisions when they matter the most. If nothing else, watching too much of news will make it harder for us to find other sources of information, which means we will believe whatever the news channels tell is true and will be even less informed than before. So how do we keep ourselves from being desensitized or misinformed? How do we fight back against the negative thoughts and negative feelings that come with being inundated with negativity every day? The answer is simple. Spend less time watching the news. But if you think back a little further, maybe you will remember that there was a time when we didn't have the internet with a lot of information. We didn't have the cable TV and radios or newspapers full of articles about every tiny thing that happened around us. And guess what? People lived happily ever without worrying too much about anything. Let me tell you some interesting stuff. We all know about 2008 crisis, the financial crisis. The stock market was crashed, the people were losing their jobs. Everyone was talking about it. Everyone was really scared. And there was one man who was really happy and not worried about anything. He is the man who never read the yellow pages of the newspaper. By yellow pages, I mean the Economic Times or Financial Times and so on. So, all the people who read the news were anxious even though it didn't directly affect them. Ignorance is truly a bliss, you see. Let's do this small mental visual. Imagine you are a captain of the ship. You are standing on the bridge of your ship, staring out into the space at all the big things that are happening in the galaxy. Then boom, a red light goes out and you don't know if it's because the enemies have discovered your secret base or if there has been an attack on your ship. In either scenarios, you must report to work. So after gathering your weapons, you move towards the bridge. The communication room should be your initial trip since everyone needs to be informed. You visit there to make the war announcement. But when you push open the door with a face filled with fear and dread, you are surprised. You see a bunch of people just sitting around talking about how much better their lives are and they are not watching TV or news anymore. They're right. They don't watch news because they don't have time. They have too much going on with their jobs and their families and their hobbies and whatever else it is that makes life worth living. And when they get home from work, they don't even turn on the TV anymore because they have seen enough of those same stories over and again by now. And what good is knowing about all of those things that don't really affect you? So, I want to ask you a question. Has there been a time recently when you would have suffered some current events as much as you believe? If the answer is no, perhaps there is nothing at all that you are losing out on. You might not want to keep up with the current events as much as you believe. I'm going to challenge you. Try not to look at any report on any news on work day during one week. And I would suggest you to choose a day between Monday and Thursday. Check what you missed in the next morning to determine whether it had any impact on you. And if it didn't, this means this is the start of a much peaceful and a calmer life for you.